One, we got the Detroit Lions going on the road to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Hunter, why don't you kick this one off?
Another interesting one. Chargers just came off that win last night, which I think was pretty big for them. It was an interesting game, I would say, for the least. I mean, they really kicked it in gear second half. I don't really know what. It's so hard for me to trust this Chargers team. Honestly, I am not a big fan of Brandon Staley. I don't think he should be a coach. He's proven time and time again that he makes bad decisions in bad games, or not bad decisions in good games. And if this game comes down to the wire, I feel like I have to give it to the Lions because they have proven themselves better in these close games. Chargers are a losing team when it comes to close games. They just are. They make bad decisions. I would say even like not even just Brandon Staley, but I feel like Justin Herbert to an extent has made some bad decisions as well. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's a great quarterback. He has a lot of talent. But when clutch time comes, I feel like it doesn't usually work out in his favor. So I'm going to go with the Lions. I think this is going to be another close game. Definitely one to watch for sure.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks to go after all the favorites and everything like that, but I honestly, yeah, I have to side with that though. Chargers aren't good against good teams, right? They just aren't good against good teams. They're like a lesser Cowboys, I feel like. All
Yeah.
the talent, in the world, both sides of the ball. They just have, a bonehead coach sometimes that just makes bad decisions, and offensive coordinator as well. Just terribly managed in terms of all those things, but on paper, like you look at that roster on Madden or whatever, it's like this team is full of
Yeah.
90s, etc. Right? So, but no, I feel you there. I think going into LA, the Lions, they're going to be humming. I think they're going to be able to, run the ball a little bit. I think that is definitely like the one thing to keep an eye out on is when the Chargers aren't able to, I guess, win games is they stop the run, they make you one dimensional, and then they do have like some excellent pass rushers and some secondary there to get some picks or create some turnovers. So that being said, Lions have played pretty well in terms of like clean football. So I think they'll be able to win this game here. The Chargers also, the wide receiver core has been a little depleted. Like I don't trust Quinn Johnston here. I mean, this could be his breakout game, and he gets like 100 yards or something. I'm just not banking on that. It seems like he's just one of those physical specimens out there that just runs really fast and is big, and that's basically it. So I don't see him being that main factor here, but that would be like one thing to, I guess, keep an eye out on is to see if the Chargers are able to, get some plays downfield with him, get a touchdown or two from like Quentin Johnson, just like running past the secondary. But I think the Lions will play smart, keep Justin Herbert at bay, and just be able to move the ball on offense there. So I got Lions. I think it's 2.5. Yeah, I might go over just for the sake of it here.
Man, my gut's just telling me to go with the Chargers, man. Coming off this last game, I feel like, I hear everything you're saying about Detroit. They're kind of my darlings in the NFC, if Jags are my AFC team or whatever, just because I love their culture. I wish we had a guy like Campbell as our head coach in Chicago. It's weird for me to say that too, because I am a Bears fan, but I do have a soft spot for the Lions just because they've been taking it for so long that, it's cool to see them kind of in a driver's seat now. But for them to go to 7-2, I mean, that'd be amazing. I guess I'm just seeing it as like the Chargers are starting to piece it together, especially defensively, to get 8 sacks. Last game, get guys like Bosa and Mack, really playing to their standards. I would say more or less, without the injuries. It feels like a lot of their key players on the defensive side are now healthy. Eckler is now back. We weren't seeing him for most parts of the first handful of weeks, so to get him incorporated back in that offense is important. He still hasn't been able to establish the run, and the Lions are like number 2, I think, in the league in rush yards allowed per game. But in the passing game, he's been finding holes. He's been finding space like Eckler does, and they've been kind of pairing him up with Josh Kelly. So maybe Kelly's a guy who can bulldoze a little bit here and there. You've got the finesse of Eckler. kind of making up for that loss of Josh Palmer or, a true number two. But I think, Keenan Allen's still Keenan Allen. He's still getting his, yardage and catches, and Donald Parham at tight end's definitely been, more or less involved. I feel like this is a winnable game for the Chargers. I do feel like the Lions are the better team, but I feel like from where they're standing right now, Lions coming off a bye, maybe they don't come out as sharp as they, normally do. And I just think they roll with it this weekend and they pull off the victory. So, I agree with you guys on Brandon Staley. Like, the guy's an absolute clown, but I think Bozo figures it out this weekend.
Okay, I like that. Bozo figures it out.
That's a headline over there. Yeah, I mean, I think yeah. I was saying that I think of the losses for the Lions this season. I was looking at because I was thinking about the Chargers. Like, this could be a sneaky kind of, I guess, upset here. Is they have given up pass yardage in all their losses. 300 yards to Lamar Jackson, 300 yards to Geno Smith there. So and Herbert, he can pack those yardage pretty easily, I think, and pretty efficiently too. I think he has 4 interceptions this year, so has been taking care of the ball. And the Chargers do have I think the best or tied for the best turnover differential, actually, which it's I kind of was shocked when I read that. And I think Lions are in the middle of the pack there. So if they're able to get some turnovers there, and if Justin Herbert is able to just take whatever the defense gives them, maybe Johnson is able to break one here and there, then yeah, this could definitely be a game.
I also think it's one of those things too where it's the Chargers are in a position where they kind of have to kick it into gear. If they don't, then they're kind of just this middle of the pack. This is the start of where teams have to kick it in gear. That's why, earlier I was Texans need to kick it in gear. There's some must game. This is where the must win games start to happen. And I think if the Chargers want a chance to make it in playoffs, I think this is one of their must win games against a team that is good. For them to be even in that conversation, I think it's a must win game for them. But I can't trust them. I'm a Broncos fan. I like watching the Chargers lose. I like watching them struggle. I'd love for them to have Brandon Staley as their head coach, but I also like Herbert. I think he's fun to watch, but I can't trust him.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens this weekend. If the Lions win, they do go to 7-2, and I don't know any time in my history where the Lions have been 7-2. So I'll just appreciate that for what it is, because it is absolutely crazy this year in the NFC North, especially with, the Packers, Vikings, even us Bears just kind of, stinking up the joint. So, yeah. Anyways, they're a great team, and we'll see how it all plays out this weekend. Everyone, thanks for sticking around with us. If you're still here, go to YouTube, check out Logical Nonsense Podcast, give Hunter a subscribe, check out his videos, his content. I think you can also find him on Instagram at Logical Nonsense Podcast as well. For Ball and Breakfast, find us on YouTube, subscribe as well to this video, give us a like, comment on what you've heard so far.